Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This is going to be my October TBR featuring my very own Bookopoly board. I did Becca's Bookathon in September, loved it so much I made my own. Yes, some of these prompts are the same as hers, but I just really enjoyed some of the prompts, so I was just like, you know what, we'll add them to my own. This might change eventually. This is my first month doing this, so yeah, I'm gonna put this down. But essentially how this will work is I will play a clip of me like going around the board and then say what book fits the prompt, as well as I'm also taking part in 2 readathons this month. I'm taking part of Spoopathon, which is like my main readathon priority, as well as the magical Hop-A-Thon. I will leave both of those announcement videos in the description, and I'm not going to explain those in full, but I will first do the roles for Bookopoly, and then we'll move on to the readathon prompts and what books I'm reading for those. So let's just get started. I actually should say the rules for the game. I will do 6 rolls. Doubles are an extra roll, and that's pretty much the only rules that I have so far. This is also the first month, so more rules will be added. So now let's actually get on with the rolls. Okay, so here is my board. I'm not going to go through every single prompt. You will kind of be able to see them as I go of what books what prompts are in what order, just because I have to like hold my camera because I don't have a tripod, and to go all around the board explaining each one would also take forever. Maybe come January when I revamp the board, if I do revamp the board, I might, but as for now I'm not. I have the community shelf and the chance cards, which I kind of custom designed on Canva. They're not that great, but they're my boards. So I also have my little, like, it's a little crystal thing that I'm going to use. And where are my dice? And my dice are right here. I'm just using random dice I found in my house for this. So I'm going to be doing 6 rolls, and yeah. So roll number 1, we're starting with 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a contemporary or a romance. So for roll number 1, I got, well, I don't remember what I got, but I landed on contemporary/romance, which is to read a book that is either contemporary or romance, or both type thing. And so I am picking Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World by Benjamin Alire Saenz. I do not know if I'm pronouncing that name right. I'm sorry if I am pronouncing it wrong. But this is the sequel to Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, which in the first book we follow 15-year-old Aristotle as this boy named Dante teaches him how to swim, and it's them just becoming friends, and then that friend maybe leading to more, and this is just kind of the continuation of their story, and I'm very excited to read this. I actually have an ARC through NetGalley, so I need to read it before the 12th when it comes out, so I can have a review out by the release date. So this will be probably one of the early reads that one of the books I read early in the month. Next roll, okay, that one just went right under the board there. And also my board apparently doesn't want to stay flat. So roll number 3, so okay, I know where you were. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me just turn the board. Oh god, I know where that was. That was on physical book. So a physical book from my shelves. For physical book, I'm going to be reading Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, and this is the sequel to Skyward. If you hear any background noises, I don't know what noise. I think somebody's cutting the grass. the neighbors cutting the grass. But essentially in Skyward we follow Spencer, who she just wants to be a pilot. Pilots in this, like on this planet, are essentially pilots that go up and face the alien of the Creel, who are slowly trying to attack the planet that we are on. And Spencer really wants to be a pilot because her father was a pilot, but Spencer is labeled the coward's daughter because her father cowered out and got killed, and it's just her joining flight school and defying everything that people say, as well as she discovers something in this mysterious cavern that could change the entire human race, kind of. And I'm so excited to read this, like, you don't understand. So yeah. Okay, roll number 3. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A standalone book. So for Standalone, I'm going to be reading There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins, and this is a standalone, but it does have like a companion novel that just came out. Was it in August? But I am counting it as a standalone, and so I'm just going to read the Goodreads description because I don't really know much about this except it's kind of like a horror. So, love hurts. Monica Young thought when she left behind her dark past in Hawaii, settling with her grandmother in landlocked Nebraska. She found new friends and has even started to fall for mysterious outsider Ollie Larson, but her past isn't far behind. Then, one by one, the students of Osborne Hugh begin to die in a series of gruesome murders, each with increasingly grotesque flair. As the terror grows closer and her feelings for Ollie intensify, Monica is forced to confront her own dark secrets. And the reason I want to read this is because there is I think it's Netflix movie coming out sometime in October. I think it's October 17th? Something, I don't know. It's like, it's in October here, and I've watched the trailer for that, and I've really liked it, so I'm like, might as well read the book before it, and also Halloween, horror, kind of ties in together. And I don't really read much horror, so like, let's just stick a foot in the door, I guess. Okay, roll number 4. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. POC Rap, and I will turn the board. So POC Rap. So that can be author or characters or both. Just at least author or character is a person of color. So next we have POC Rap, which I'm going to be reading These Violet Delights by Chloe Gong, and this is a reread for me. I did read this book back in February, and I did give it a 3.5 stars, but I am very excited I want to reread this because Our Violent Ends comes out in November, and I don't remember enough to read that, but I really want to read it. So essentially, These Violent Delights, we follow, I'm going to struggle to describe this, but essentially we follow Juliet, who has moved away from Shanghai, and she's now returning back, and we have these two different opposing gangs. We have the Scarlet Gang and the White Roses, if I remember correctly, and they are like opposing rivals. And we have Juliet, who's a part of the Scarlet Gang, and we have Roma, who's a part of the White Roses, and they've kind of had a thing that happened before Juliet left, and if you cannot tell by this description, is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. I did enjoy it, although I think I sped through it too quickly. That's why I didn't enjoy it as much. So maybe upon a reread I might love it more. So now we are on to roll number 5. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So feed scroll. I will do that right now. And so I will go onto my Instagram and I will just see. So first things first, that is about, I could read that. That is a post by Zyron J. Zhao, but it's not a book. Six YA cover reveals you might have missed. That will be for 2021. 2022. I do not have any of those books on my TBR. I don't think. Okay, why is it all art? Or other things? Okay, great. None of those books. Ooh, no, Her Royal Highness. Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. That's a book I want to read, and I think my library has it on ebook, so I might be able to get it from there. So that was by Penguin Teen. So for feed scroll, as you saw, one of the options was Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins, and this is a book I've been meaning to read for forever, pretty much since I read the kind of first book in the series, Royals, which I actually own. But I'm just going to read the Goodreads description because I do not know much about this. So Millie Quint is devastated when she discovers that her sort of best friend / sort of girlfriend has been kissing someone else. And because Millie cannot stand the thought of confronting her ex every day, she decides to apply for a scholarship to a boarding school. The farther from Houston, the better. Millie kept up her luck when she accepted into one of the world's most exclusive schools located in the rolling highlands of Scotland. Everything about Scotland is different. The country is misty and green, the school is gorgeous, and the students think Americans are cute. The only problem, Millie's roommate Flora is a total princess. She's also an actual princess of Scotland. At first, the girls can barely stand each other. Flora is high class and high key, but before Millie knows it, she has another sort of best friend / sort of girlfriend. Even though Princess Flora could be a new chapter in her love life, Millie knows that the chances of happily ever afters are slim. After all, real life isn't a fairy tale, or is it? I've heard good things about this, and I've been meaning to read it, so might as well. I'll probably fly through it really quickly because with contemporaries, it usually only takes me 3 days, maybe 4 at most, depending on what I'm doing in my life to read, so it will be a quick read. Okay, and the final roll, at least unless we get doubles, is 8. Didn't we already get an 8 at some point? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fuck you. Oh my gosh, most recent purchase? Well, actually, no, it's not a fuck you. Oh my gosh, this is actually really good, I guess. This might actually be really good. This actually might be really good. So for most recent purchase, in my picking, I kind of was swearing and really mad because I originally thought that I would have to read Empire the Vampire by J. Kristoff. It's literally sitting on my bed over there, so I'm staring at it. But then I realized in the same haul, I purchased Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. So I am going to be reading this for most recent purchase. Also, I think technically, if you look on my receipt, it's technically the last book scanned, I think. So like, we could also pull that. But this essentially, we have Yadriel, who in attempting to summon the ghost of his cousin, he accidentally summons the ghost of the school's bad boy, Julian Diaz, and it is Yadriel, Julian, and Yadriel's cousin, Maritza, trying to find a way to send Julian into the afterlife, and like, kind of all of that. And as Yadriel helps Julian, Yadriel realized that maybe he doesn't want Julian to go on into the afterlife. And this is a book that I read back in October of 2020, and I loved it. I gave it a 5 stars, and I'm dying to reread it. I feel like this will be a book I'll read every like Halloween season because it does take place over Halloween, like the last week of October, the first weekend of like that kind of time. And I loved this book. I'm ready to get my heart shattered again. Like, I literally was like a mess of emotions the last few chapters, and I loved this book. So those are the books that I am reading for the like Bookopoly board. And now let's move on to Spoopathon, which is my main priority. So I am going to be on team Ghostbusters, which means that I will pull up the little like board thing somewhere. But essentially you pick a path and you have to try to escape the haunted house. So I'm going down the comfort reread path. So for comfort read, I am reading Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas because I love this so much, and it is a reread. So like comfort reread, it's perfect for that. For graphic novel, I am reading Checked Please Book 2, which is the sequel to Check Please Book 1. And essentially this we follow Biddy, who is going to like university for hockey, and it's just kind of him through his Book 1 is the first 2 years of university, Book 2 is his last 2 years of university, and that's pretty much all it is. It is a very cute graphic novel. I really like the first one, so I'm really excited to read the second one, and this one I will be getting a physical copy through my library. It just hasn't arrived yet. So for new genre, I'm going, there's someone inside your house, because I have read one horror series in my entire life, and it was nothing like this, so I'm counting it as a new genre because I've only read, I think that was a 5-book series, so I've only read 5 horror books in my life, really. For Trick or Treat, I did a poll on the Spoopathon like Discord where you could do that, and Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo won, and that was my treat because I need to read it because I'm buddy reading it with a few people, and so essentially all I know about Ninth House is we follow Alex Stern as she goes to Yale? Is it? Yes. Alex ends up getting into Yale, and then she ends up getting involved in like secret societies, and that's pretty much all I know. That's all I want to know. This book I've been putting off for so long, so when I joined a buddy read group and that was the October read, I was just like, okay, fine, I'm reading it. And then for Read After Dark, I'm just going to read any book after dark. I read mostly after the sun goes down anyway, so it'll just pretty much be whatever book I'm going to start is the book I'm going to read. So then for the Magical Hop-A-Thon, essentially how it works is you have the 4 like Disney World parks in Florida, and you basically pick a park to enter. You do an attraction, a snack, and a show, and then once you've completed all 3 of those, you can move on to another park, essentially. So the park that I'm going to start with is Hollywood Studios. So for the entrance ticket prompt, because you need an entrance ticket to even do anything, is read a book that has a movie/TV show adaptation, or will have one. And for this, I'm going to be reading One of Us is Lying by Karen and McManus, because it is a TV show that, if the TV show is going to come out, I think it's October 7th. And so essentially all I know about this is we follow these 4 high school students who are framed for or linked to the murder of another classmate after the 5 of them went to detention and only 4 made it out alive. That is literally all I know. That's all I want to know. I watched the trailer and I'm like, I need to read this before the show comes out, and it works perfectly for this prompt. So then we have, for the attractions, I'm doing Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Read a book published after 2020, and for that I'm going to be reading Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World, because it is published in 2021, so that is after 2020. So you can double up on your snacks and your shows, but you cannot double up with attractions. So I'm doubling up snacks, Num Num Cookie, Buddy read a book, as well as for the show, Indiana Jones, read a book that you keep putting off, and then I'm reading Wolfsong by TJ Klune. I'm buddy reading this with the same people I'm reading Ninth House with, and then I've been putting it off for so long because I've heard such good things, and I'm like scared that I'm not going to like it, but I'm going to read it anyways. So I'm just going to read the Goodreads description because I actually know nothing about it. Literally, I can tell you 2 things, and that is gay werewolves. That's literally all I can tell you. So, Ox was 12 when his daddy taught him a very valuable lesson. He said that Ox wasn't worth anything and people would never understand him. Then he left. Ox was 16 when he met a boy on the road. The boy who talked and talked and talks. Ox found out later that the boy hadn't spoken in almost 2 years before that day, and that the boy belonged to a family who had moved into the house at the end of the lane. Ox was 17 when he found out the boy's secret, and it painted the world around him in colors of red and orange and violet, of alpha, beta, and omega. Ox was 23 when murder came to town and tore a hole in his head and heart. The boy chased after the monster with revenge in his blood-red eyes, leaving Ox behind to pick up the pieces. It's been 3 years since that fateful day, and the boy is back. Except he's a man, and Ox can no longer ignore the song that howls between them. So I don't need to hear anything else. This is a book, and I don't really need to know anything else. I've joined a buddy read for this entire series of like the Green Creek series. It's 4 books long. Yes, it's 4 books long, unless we're doing the novellas. I don't know if we're doing like the little in-between things. So I'll be reading this over the next few months, like this series, and I'm very excited because, well, it's like queer, first of all, werewolves, sure. So then if I manage to complete Hollywood Studios, I then will be jumping over to Animal Kingdom. I'm only committing to 2 parks right now, although I'd love to hit all 4, but so far I'm going to see if I can get 2 completed, then maybe I'll do more. So for Animal Kingdom, you don't need a ticket to get into Animal Kingdom if you've already gotten into another park. So for Flight of Passage, read a 5-star prediction. I'm going to be reading A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer Armentrout. This is my most anticipated book for the rest of the year. And all I know about this is we have Sarah, who is essentially meant to be a gift to the Primal of Death, but she's essentially trained to kill him, and that is like all I pretty much know. That's all I want to know. I think it's like Enemies to Lovers, this new adult. It takes place in the same world as the Blood and Ash series, which is one of my favorite series of all time, like probably top 5. And I'm very excited because people that have had like arcs of this book have literally said it is so good, and that the love interest of Nyktos, I think that's how it's pronounced, is literally like their favorite book boyfriend and beats out Castile from the Blood and Ash books, who is like my #1 like male book character of all time. So I'm like, I don't know, will I love it? So for snacks, I'm going to be doing cheeseburger pods, read a book featuring 2 different genres or 2 different formats. I'm going to be reading Obsidio by Amie Kaufman and J. Kristoff, which actually is the book that my camera is sitting on, so I can't show you. But that is it's a mixed media sci-fi where essentially in the first book, Illuminate, we have this mining colony that was attacked by this company and they had to flee, and then the spaceships that they were on kind of started getting attacked. There was a plague that ended up going on, and one of the ships' own AI was kind of attacking the people on it, and that's pretty much all I can explain. I'm horrible at explaining this, but I will be reading this both physical copy and audiobook because that is the only way I read this series. When I read Illuminate ebook, I DNF'd it, but then as soon as I read Illuminate with the audiobook and the physical book, it was a 5-star, one of my favorite books of this year. So 2 different formats, boom. And then for Nemo the Musical, read a book outside your comfort zone. There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. I don't read horror. That's outside of my comfort zone. Again, there are 2 other parks, which is Magic Kingdom and Epcot. I might jump into one of those parks after I finish these 2 that I have on this list. But I do not want to make myself a huge TBR and then fail. I mean, this TBR already is, let's just count. It's already 11 books, with a good few of them being chunky, like Obsidio's pretty chunky, Ninth House is pretty chunky, Wolfsong is not very chunky, but it's kind of chunky, A Shadow in the Ember is fucking huge, so like, yeah, I actually do think even Aristotle and Dante is like 500 pages. So like those are some pretty chunky books, so I'm not going to add anything else to this TBR. unless there's a book that I randomly forget that I need to read, but I don't think there is. I think all the books I need to read this month are on this TBR. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what readathons you are taking place in, what books you are reading this month, and if you've read any of these books on this list, and what are your thoughts. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!